In the quiet town of Cana, nestled among the hills of Galilee, a grand celebration was underway. The whole village had gathered for a wedding, a time of joy and laughter. In those days, weddings were major events, lasting for several days. The music, the dancing, and the feasting carried on as guests enjoyed one another's company, celebrating the union of two families. Among the guests at this particular wedding were Mary, the mother of Jesus, Jesus himself, and his disciples. The atmosphere was joyful, but underneath the merriment, a potential disaster was brewing. The wine, an essential part of any wedding feast, had run out. In a culture where hospitality was everything, this was a catastrophe. The embarrassment for the family could be immense, possibly lasting for years. Mary, ever observant and compassionate, noticed the problem. She turned to her son and quietly said, "They have no more wine." At first, Jesus responded with words that might have seemed puzzling. "Woman, why do you involve me? My time has not yet come." But Mary, with the gentle confidence of a mother who knows her son, turned to the servants and simply said, "Do whatever he tells you." Nearby stood 6 large stone water jars, each holding 20 to 30 gallons of water. These jars weren't meant for drinking. They were used for ceremonial washing, a part of the Jewish tradition. But Jesus saw an opportunity. He looked at the servants and said, "Fill the jars with water." The servants, trusting Mary's words, did as Jesus asked. They filled the jars to the brim. Then Jesus told them, "Now draw some out and take it to the master of the banquet." With some uncertainty, the servants obeyed. They drew the water, and as they carried it to the master of the banquet, something miraculous happened. The water had turned into wine. When the master of the banquet tasted it, he was astonished. He called the bridegroom over and exclaimed, "Everyone brings out the choice wine first, and then the cheaper wine after the guests have had too much to drink. But you have saved the best till now." No one at the wedding except for the servants knew what had happened. The guests continued to celebrate, unaware that they were drinking wine that had just moments before been water. But the disciples who had witnessed the miracle believed. This was the first sign of Jesus' divine power, the first glimpse of his glory. It wasn't a public spectacle, but for those who saw, it was a moment that would be remembered forever. This miracle at Cana was more than just a solution to an embarrassing problem. It was a sign of who Jesus was and what he had come to do. In turning water into wine, Jesus showed that he had the power to transform. He could take the ordinary and make it extraordinary, just as he would one day take the brokenness of humanity and redeem it through his death and resurrection.